G'day and welcome to another edition of the Aussie Ideas Man. I'm not going to show my face because that'll help me speed up getting this one out, but this one I'm calling Chasing Guff. I think the guy is previously Chasing Aptera or something like that. He's a funny looking fellow and he's a bit warped in his thinking, but hey, they're the ones that I really like to evaluate. So let's get into it.
After my last episode talking about why I thought big investors should invest in Aptera, I got an interesting comment from @BillSmith5960. I'll use AI to read what he wrote in part.
Instead of covering the same exact talking points the company has repeated ad nauseum, I have a suggestion. Why not treat this how we work in the real world? Let's look at the two founders that hold total control of this business. Make a video of their past and let's see how successful they were. Maybe where those businesses are today. This is like when you send out a resume. One key section is your past experience. Why can't we do this for Chris and Steve?
I thought that was a great idea. So, here goes. Hi, my name is Bill, and welcome to Chasing Aptera, where I chronicle the trials, tribulations, and presumably joys of acquiring, transporting, insuring, and living with this unique solar electric vehicle. Let's start with Steve Fambro. Fambro developed a fascination with engineering when he was in the Army, as he explained on the Dealmakers podcast hosted by Alejandro Cremades. After graduation, Fambro joined a San Diego-based company called Illumina, designing sophisticated robots used for DNA research. It was while commuting to work that Fambro started thinking about vehicle aerodynamics as he explained it to Guy Raz on the podcast How I Built This. This led Fambro to researching and tinkering in his garage and ultimately deciding to sell his Illumina stock and around 2006 start the company that would eventually be known as Aptera. Along the way, Fambro met Chris Anthony, and they became good friends. Turns out they had a lot in common and found their strengths complemented each other. Anthony studied environmental engineering at Northern Arizona University and later earned a Bachelor of Science in Finance from the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. In 2002, he founded Epic Boats, built on a foundation of fluid mechanics knowledge and a vision for innovative boat design. The company was recognized in the sports boat industry, particularly for its advanced work with resin infusion composites. The company we know today as Aptera was originally called Accelerated Composites. It was later changed to Aptera, a name derived from the Greek for wingless flight. Chris Anthony, still at Epic Boats, joined the company bringing his practical experience in composites and his business experience. Early prototypes, such as the TYP-1, showed impressive efficiency, reportedly achieving over 300 miles per gallon equivalent. The groundbreaking performance, coupled with a futuristic design, garnered significant media attention and attracted thousands of pre-orders. The promise of Aptera drew investments from notable entities including Google, Idealab, S&J Petroleum, and NRG Energy. Unfortunately, the company experienced a number of challenges getting to production, and its backers felt it would be a good idea to bring someone on board with experience in the automotive industry. In 2008, Paul Wilbur was hired as CEO, replacing Fambro in that role. Wilbur had more than 27 years' experience in significant roles at Ford and Chrysler. Though Fambro transitioned to Chief Technical Officer, he and Anthony effectively lost control over the company's strategic direction. Fambro left in 2009, and Anthony returned his focus to Epic Boats. In 2009, while at Epic Boats, Anthony founded a new company called Flux Power.
There are two stories with regard to how they left. There are plenty of articles that say that the board sacked Anthony and Fambro, but they like to tell people that they left of their own accord. It's always been a common thing that there are multiple stories with regard to what has been happening in history.
As CEO, president, and chairman, the company carved a niche developing and manufacturing advanced lithium battery technology, primarily targeting industrial applications. Anthony successfully raised $100 million through a combination of private equity, direct public offering, and grant funding. He also took the company public, giving him firsthand experience in navigating the complexities of public markets, including investor relations, regulatory compliance, and the financial reporting required for a publicly traded company.
There are reports that Chris Anthony did not take them public at all, Flux Power. But I think even Anthony himself has claimed that he took Flux Power public. Once again, two sides to the story, and nobody knows which, because whenever evidence is required, evidence is never given.
In the meantime, Aptera was starting to unravel. The Department of Energy eventually issued a conditional commitment letter for $150 million, but this was contingent upon Aptera raising $80 million in private matching funds.
Now, this is interesting because Google and some of those other investors, out of petty cash for a week, could have stumped up the $80 million that they required. But none of them did. They all decided to lose what they had put into Aptera. And I'm pretty sure it was on the basis of the fact that they never proved that skin cooling worked after the X Prize breakdown, where it overheated and didn't finish the race. This was the turning point. The overheating, the lack of evidence that skin cooling ever worked, and that 80 million didn't come forward. 80 million was so easy to raise with the companies that they already had backing them, yet they couldn't get it.
In a strategic pivot aimed at improving its chances for DOE funding, the company shifted its development focus to a more conventional four-wheeled, four-door sedan concept dubbed the 4E.
Now, this picture of this four-wheeled, four-door sedan concept is all there is. It is a design diagram, and in 2011, when they went belly up, there were no prototypes at any stage resembling this picture. They had about 17 partly built shells, and all of them were the three-wheeler type. So this claim that they had gone to doing this is probably a lie. Apart from Aptera Motors having other designs on paper, they were just doodling around. But any serious steps towards production were all with the three-wheeler.
However, when the DOE declined a loan application for a different company with a similar composite body, Aptera investors reportedly lost confidence and withdrew further financial support. The original Aptera ceased operations in December of 2011, sold its assets and intellectual property to a Chinese automaker, and started the process of returning customer deposits. Having lost control of the company he started, Steve Fambro left Aptera 2 years before its demise. In 2009, he started a company called Fambro Farms. He took his passion for efficiency and applied it to food production by developing a super efficient pesticide and herbicide-free indoor vertical farming system designed entirely from the ground up. Fambro successfully secured $8 million in funding and over a 2-year period spearheaded the development of a proprietary vertical farming platform. Fambro Farms found success in the competitive Southern California market, supplying its produce to major grocery retailers like Whole Foods Market and Barron's Market, as well as to various restaurants. By 2014, Fambro was reportedly scouting expansion sites outside of California, including potential locations in the Bronx, New York. Fambro was also involved in building the first USDA organic vertical farm in the United Arab Emirates, or UAE. But in the end, Fambro Farms couldn't keep up with the competition, as Fambro pointed out in his interview on Dealmakers. From around 2017 to 2020, Steve Fambro also had a period of involvement with Flux Power, the company Chris Anthony started. Sources identify his role at Flux Power, at least for a time, as director of production, particularly in the context of a facility expansion. Also around this time, Fambro served as a venture partner and COO at Ocean Holding, an investment and development company focused on advancing the use of clean and renewable energy. According to his 2019 LinkedIn profile, Fambro's responsibilities at Ocean Holding included focusing on clean energy and ag tech deals internationally with projects in Morocco, Armenia, Sri Lanka, and the UAE. This work involved collaborating with other investors, ambassadors, and negotiating with senior government officials. Currently, according to LinkedIn, the company has between 11 and 50 employees and has developed and executed 500 megawatts plus of solar farms globally, all connected to the electrical grid. They've backed initiatives in organic food production, sustainable agriculture, and irrigation technology, and interestingly, they are also active in the exploration and extraction of minerals, plus excavation, refinery, and trading of oil products through strategic partnerships. In 2013, Chris Anthony left Flux Power to spend more time in his role as CEO of Epic Boats, though he stayed on Flux Power's board of directors in an advisory capacity. Flux Power is still in business today, developing new products, including AI-based battery management software, and generating revenue, though its stock performance has reflected the same volatility as other emerging technology sectors. In 2014, Anthony still managed to start a new company called Endless Energy, focused on sulfur graphene battery technology. He served as founder and head of business development for the company from September 2014 to July 2017. As of May 2025, Endless Energy was still listed as a funded company. As far as Epic Boats goes, the advanced manufacturing processes and material that made their boats lightweight and innovative also made them more expensive and time-consuming to build compared to competitors. In the 2000s, the economic downturn of the times, which hit the recreational boating industry hard, led to the closure of several small builders, including Epic Boats, which closed its doors in 2019 after a run of 17 years. In 2019, Chris Anthony and Steve Fambro reacquired the Aptera intellectual property and spearheaded the relaunch of Aptera Motors Corporation.
I have to say that they may not have reacquired the intellectual property. They may have just lied about that. There's a lawsuit with Aptera pending, which they have been stalling for some time, where Aptera claimed that they never sold the intellectual property back to Fambro and Anthony.
What Fambro and Anthony learned from the first version of Aptera Motors was not to overly rely on a single loan like the ATVM loan, nor on traditional venture capital. Instead, they embraced equity crowdfunding, building a strong community of supporters and small investors. They learned the importance of approaching production efficiently, partnering with design experts like Monroe and Associates and composite component specialists like CPC Group of Italy. And the founders learned the importance of maintaining control over the company's strategic direction by not putting themselves in a position where their vision could be easily overridden by external investors or new management. Chris Anthony brings his experiences with Flux Power and Epic Boats, informing key aspects of Aptera's technology, manufacturing strategy, and business planning. Steve Fambro's vision, entrepreneurial experience, and early engineering career have shaped Aptera's emphasis on systems engineering, efficiency, and sustainable design. That brings us to today, where the company just revealed its fully functional validation vehicle called Artemis, which they are preparing to take on a road trip, showing off the vehicle at events all across the country. So, what can we conclude from all this? Well, it's not easy being an entrepreneur. According to the U.S. Bureau of Statistics, about 20% of new businesses fail within the first year, and approximately 50% fail within 5 years. After 10 years, around 65 to 70% of businesses have failed. Here are some notable examples. Tara.
I never like comparisons made with other people because they are meaningless. Just because somebody does something doesn't mean the people that they're promoting are likely to do the same thing. There is no connection at all. It's other people did things, so we hope the Aptera crew can do the same. That's all it amounts to. Anthony has already admitted that he's had about 8 or 9 failed ventures, and some of them are pretty bad. Some that should have been mentioned here if this guy was to be fair. But if anybody wants to research them, they're there. Well, I did say I would rush it, so that's all from me. Bye for now. Stay safe.